Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Nick Tate. Dr. Neal Baer has worn many hats in his long and storied career. The Harvard-trained physician has done star turns as an author, filmmaker, TV writer, and perhaps most notably, as executive producer of the hit medical drama ER, as well as Law & Order SVU, and the CBS series Under the Dome. Now Dr. Baer is turning his focus and camera on a topic that is close to his heart, the social and economic struggles facing small-town America. In a new documentary, If You Build It, he takes a look at an inspiring community development project in rural North Carolina that spotlights the difficult socio-economic issues at the center of many Americans' lives. Dr. Baer, welcome to Newsmax TV.
Hi, how are you?
All right. I'd like to begin by asking about the new documentary. What prompted you to focus on the challenges that are facing the small southern town at the center of If You Build It?
I read a book several years ago called Design Revolution, 100 Products that Can Empower People by a young designer named Emily Pilliton. And I just fell in love with the book because it was about amazing, simple products that can change people's lives, like life straws where you can drink water through polluted rivers, say in Africa, and the straws are designed so that they take out all the bacteria. So I really wanted to meet her. As a physician, having worked a lot in Africa, I wanted to talk to her. So I Facebooked her. We became Facebook friends, and I went to San Francisco to meet her, and she told me that she was embarking on a project in the poorest county in North Carolina, Bertie County, where she was going to be teaching high school juniors what's called design thinking, ways to address social problems through design. And so I said, I'd love to come along and make a film about it, and she said, sure.
It's a pretty compelling story. Do you hope that the documentary accomplishes anything beyond sharing the experiences of the county and the community?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a template for what education can become in this country. I think spend too much time preparing kids for tests so that they can then take more tests, and the creativity, the problem-solving elements that are so critical and crucial for our society to face the major issues we're facing can often get lost. And so I think Emily's approach, helping students think through problems and come up with interesting solutions using design, the same kinds of approaches that architects or designers use to solve problems. You have to build something to fit a community, to fit an area. You have to know what the people need. You have to know what kind of materials are available. You have to know what the problems are. This is something that can really, I think, inspire kids in classrooms across the country, and they can design for their own communities. It doesn't necessarily have to be a farmer's market in their community. It could be, say you live in an urban area like New York City or Los Angeles where there are empty lots. You might want to turn those into vegetable gardens. Well, Emily's approach, I think, really inspires that kind of thinking to take the problems in your community and then design interesting ways to address them.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Are there any updates from the community on what's happened there since the filming ended?
Absolutely. The kids themselves are high school juniors. Many of them are going to college. They're the first kids in their families ever to attend college. And so that's really inspiring because of the program they went through. There have been numerous new jobs created because of the farmers market. Fresh fruits and vegetables are available to the community. It's a farming area, but there was only one small grocery store in the town, and they were not providing good fresh fruits and vegetables, so that's there. So there's new employment opportunities. It's a gathering spot for the community. It's brought the community together. These kids really solved a problem in their community, one of obesity, lack of access to fresh fruits and vegetables, and unemployment, by building this structure that became really a hallmark for what a town can become.
Very inspiring. You know, your work has often had a heavy emphasis on social issues like this, you know, from the health topics that were explored on ER to the urban violence on Law & Order SVU. Do you think that television and film has a unique opportunity or offers unique opportunities for exploring these kinds of issues?
Absolutely. Television and film are one of the best ways that we can explore really complex problems because we provide a drama. We show people interacting with one another and all the different complexities, all the different sides to an argument, and we can lay them all out. We don't have to take a side. We don't have to make an argument one way or the other. We can just show our characters grappling with the issues and coming to some conclusions. And maybe as a viewer, I always said with SVU, for instance, that you might come in with one attitude or thought about an issue, and you might leave with another because you've seen our characters duke it out and really think about how to figure things out and struggle to do it. And that can be inspiring for the viewer, and they also often think about their own lives in that way, and they think, well, I might approach that in a different way because I saw a character doing it. It gives me an idea, it inspires me, it enlightens me, it engages me.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a longtime health reporter, I know that ER had that kind of rip from the headlines quality that gave it a raw authenticity. How much were the storylines on ER informed by your own experiences as a doctor?
They were informed very, very much. You know, Noah Wiley's character started out as a third-year medical student. I was a fourth-year medical student at Harvard Medical School when I started on ER, and so when Noah was peed on, puked on, that had already happened to me. And I wrote a lot for George Clooney because he played a pediatrician on ER, and I became a pediatrician. While I was on ER, I did my residency over 7 years during ER and 2 years of SVU, and so I could draw on really complicated ethical dilemmas. For instance, once I did a show for George about whether or not to resuscitate a young man who was a minor, who was 16 years old, who wanted to be allowed to die. And because he was a minor, his mother really had the final word. But George's character ended up siding with the kid because he wanted to do what was best for the kid. And so this was really, you know, something that happened to me, and I was caught in this terrible dilemma about whether to listen to what the parents wanted or what the patient wanted, because the patient was a minor. So I was able to explore really complicated ethical dilemmas on ER.
Mm-hmm. I remember the episode. Now, you've just signed a new 2-year deal to continue producing Under the Dome. Can you tell us anything about what to expect?
Well, we're working on year 2 of Under the Dome right now, so you're definitely going to see some new characters, and they're going to come in unexpected ways. We're going to meet some relatives we hadn't met before of some of our characters, and expect surprises. You know, last year one of our beloved characters, Dodie, met a very untimely death, and nobody is safe under the dome.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're building the suspense and the anticipation well there. I also understand that you're working on another medical drama, The Three Bears. Can you tell us anything about this?
Sure. I have 2 brothers who are surgeons, and my father was a surgeon, so that inspired me to do a series about 3 brothers who don't actually get along very well. I get along great with my brothers. They're both surgeons, but one's a surgeon on the show, one's a kind of a Lothario ER doc, and one is a young internist in medicine. And so the 3 of them actually don't know that they're brothers, but they come to learn this, and because their father kind of fooled around a bit, and they have to learn to live with one another in this big modern hospital.
So it sounds like another kind of semi-autobiographical, or coming from your own experiences, is informing what you're doing with this one.
Absolutely. I always look to experiences I've had, except for I'm pretty sure that my brothers and I all have the same father. But but I do look for the medical stories that have affected my life. I call it kind of private storytelling. I take what's privately or personally happened to me, and then I make it public through the television shows that I do, because I found that these stories were so compelling to me. I hope they'll be compelling to the viewers.
Well, I know that you, on that point, you do continue to practice medicine in addition to everything else you do. I have to ask, would you say that that's your first love, the practice of medicine, or is it that it provides the background, the information, the fodder for the other projects you do, or is it maybe a little of both?
It's a little of both. My first love is storytelling, and I say that the best doctors are really good storytellers because they have to listen and get the patient's story, and then they have to convey that story to other healthcare providers so that they can come up with a diagnosis. And so I really love hearing patient stories. So I don't practice too much in the United States now, but when I go to Africa, particularly Kenya or Mozambique, I do practice and I see kids, and I had this really wonderful opportunity where I met a young man in Kenya 5 years ago who was picking tea but had done really well in high school, no running water or electricity in his village, and he asked if I would bring him to the United States so he could become a doctor. And through a long course of events, we did do that, and now he's in his second year at UCLA Medical School. So it's very inspiring to not only work in the United States doing medicine, but to try to share my experiences and bring people to the U.S. to be trained so that they can go back and take care of people in their own countries.
Well, Dr. Baer, thanks for being with us today, and good luck with all the projects that you have going. You know, we will be watching.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on Newsmax TV.